why you shouldn't cut this from your budget.
Let's get into it.
Video Mavericks, the small business video marketing podcast. Presented by Workshop Media. With your hosts, Brett and Jeff, sharing a combined 40 years of video production and marketing experience. Take it away.
So are you thinking of cutting marketing to save money this year? Maybe sales are down. First thing's got to go, right?
That's the first thing.
Budgets are tight. First thing we go, pull up the spreadsheet, marketing.
It's because
even on the list, you're like, marketing's got to go.
It's because obviously marketing is not helping to run the business. It's not creating the product. It's not paying the people. Yeah. So let's get rid of it. It's fluff.
Let's get rid of marketing. Always, it's like, it just gets the axe. Done. It's gone. Wasn't working for us. We're not going to use it ever again. We'll revisit next budget. Such a bummer.
It is. And I can empathize with the need to make drastic cuts for one reason or another. Can empathize with maybe thinking that because it is not directly related to, specific A to B directly related to daily business expenses, to produce a product, to pay people, to cover the cost of the building, whatever that thing is, that maybe you would think that it is something that could go. But what we're sort of talking about and breaking down today is how that is such a flawed perspective on what marketing is and what it ultimately is responsible for in your business.
And how impactful it can be for you.
That's right.
So maybe it gets the axe because it's not effective in the way you're using it.
Right.
Maybe you're using it, it's not just video marketing, it's marketing in general, radio ads, billboards, all this other stuff, display ads, leave behinds, all this stuff fits into the marketing category.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you look at marketing as this sort of subjective art form and it's creative and it doesn't move the needle.
Maybe you're casting a net with your marketing that is too wide, or maybe your efforts have been pointed in the wrong direction entirely, or it could be a more fundamental thing that the messages that you're putting out through your marketing are not directly related to the outcomes that you're expecting to see from that marketing.
Or conflicting across sales assets, website.
Yeah. But it's interesting because something like the building that you're in is obviously something we wouldn't consider changing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or the head count. I mean, this is kind of, a wild thought, but one salary.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to take away jobs, but you're also potentially creating jobs by putting it into this particular
the product that you sell in and of itself, there may be things in there that you could look for constriction in the budget that would not negatively impact your business or your consumer. Or maybe you're looking at trying to absorb expenses for one reason or another so that you can keep other things alive. But the point is that marketing that is done well, that's pointed at outcomes and that is really considered to be a priority for the business, should be a leader in your sales process.
It should be one of those things that you go, there's no chance. It's driving traffic. It's connecting with our customer. It's doing all of these things for us. It should be as important as all of those non-negotiables you already have.
Yeah.
Marketing should not be, and this is not just us being in the marketing category, hooting and hollering about this. We kind of are, but it's because it matters. It truly matters. If you cut it, we're not gonna put any into marketing this year. You take away the ability to connect and engage with your target customer, that visibility, the awareness and brand recall, the ability to stand out among your competition, the competition that's not putting the kibosh on the marketing budget. Yeah. You're doing all of that, you're going to stagnate. You're going to rely solely on whatever sales you have going on now, whatever you're currently doing, hoping that the quality of your product and service is going to do the work. Not in today's world, man.
What's interesting is you'll ultimately get to a point where you go, we're doing well. We cut the marketing. We really need more people to know about this.
Whoops. Whoa. We really need to tell people about this. Now we get it. Sometimes, if the organization is larger, you may need to show your board, show the investors that they made the right choice by putting this CEO in place, and you come in and you clean house a little bit, and that makes sense. I mean, we get it on paper. It's going to look real good. You just cut out $500,000 out of your marketing budget, out of the overall, numbers or whatever. So we get that. But at the end of the day, what is that going to do? You made an effort right now, but what is that going to do 12 months from now, 24, 36? Right. What is that going to do down the road where you go, we're not marketing at all. We're not talking to our potential customers. We're not doing any work to send the right message to them in the right way. We made the numbers look good now, but down the line, what happens? I mean, you can't speak to that, but that's what you should question.
Yep. So, I mean, the point here is that you if you're still in a growth mindset, or even if you're still trying to keep from losing, you can't cut your way to that solution.
Yeah.
You might can lean out some things and get a little bit more pointed, but eliminating your sales tools is more of the canary in the coal mine, so to speak, that if you're down to the point where you're having to cut the thing that's drawing customers in, then maybe the mistake was made 6 months ago or 12 months ago. And, you need to have a far more comprehensive conversation.
Maybe maybe it was you. Toretto. You know what? It was you.
Maybe there was
there
was a misstep in your outreach, or a misstep in your, some.
And it started to compound over time, and
and
so you're being reactive, and maybe maybe that's a good thing. You're saying go lean, don't just kill it entirely. Yeah. And that's important. And look, everybody's business is different. Everybody has their own objectives. They have their own profit and loss to look at. All of that, I understand. We're just saying, don't think of marketing as that first thing that you can yank and immediately see your results, because you're going to do damage in other ways. It's like, here, take this medicine. We're going to get rid of your headache, but guess what? Now you have diarrhea. I said diarrhea on the podcast, but you know what I mean? Like, you're going to take this, and you're no longer. You have no more knee pain, but you can't see straight anymore.
If it's so easy to eliminate it as a budget item, why did you add it to begin with?
You cut marketing, you're going to introduce side effects.
You're creating another problem. That's right.
Yeah, is cutting the marketing from your budget really getting at the solution you're after?
Yeah, or do you need to go back to your investors and make a case?
Yeah.
Or, however you need to address that. But
whatever it is, but you might see some side effects if you decide to stop speaking directly to your target audience.
Yeah. And frankly, the marketing that you're doing, it compounds over time. So we talk about consistency a lot, and that can't really be overstated. If that engine has to continue to run. You lose all that ground, and your competitor is not losing that ground, you have to kind of start from way in the back seat. Maybe there's a case where
market share where it's going to be a lot harder to gain back.
A case where you have to explain to your audience when you're back where you were, or you got to try to catch up to industry trends that you're now completely out of the loop on.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've had a shift in your brand since the last time you marketed because you eliminated your marketing, and now you can't organically make that shift in your marketing efforts. You have to come out and do a much more intense rebrand to make it make sense, to justify the fact that you went dark for 12, 24 months, whatever it was. The point here is that it compounds over time, and continuing to move it along is critically important. So just really, if you're going to cut your marketing, you really need to think about what it's doing on a larger scale over and beyond balancing your books.
Yeah. So how do we make it work? Are there ways that look, I hear you, Brett. I hear you, Jeff, but I got to do it. I mean, I can't, we're really thin right now. I got to do it. So what can you do what are some ways to make this work for you without just immediately saying I can't market anymore?
I think the very first thing is looking at efficiencies over elimination. Where can you, and when I called it leaning out, but where can you find efficiencies in your efforts?
Yep.
What are the biggest leaders in your marketing effort, and how can you keep those in place?
Yep.
In the video world, what assets do you have already that you can repurpose? What things have performed well that you can iterate off of? Maybe when you're in a situation where you're looking at losses and you're trying to stop the bleeding, maybe that's not the time to be trying out new concepts that you haven't sorted out yet. Maybe it's a time to double down on the things that are working for you. Maybe it's a good opportunity to look at that brand story that you already have and start repurposing it. You know, those are ways that you can maybe slow down a bit.
To be a little less costly, a
little less
easier to achieve.
Yeah. And then, you know, if you're spending ad dollars on paid ads, maybe you point your efforts at organic reach for a little while and change your focus and go heavy on the storytelling and organic reach to see what you can get out of that. You're still speaking to the customer, but maybe you're not trying to grow your customer base in that case. You're just making sure that the ones that are there are still fundamentally engaged with you because you're keeping them informed.
Yeah.
So auditing for efficiency, reusing stuff that you have, but not cutting it to the point where it just goes stale.
That's exactly right. If you're not cutting it entirely, maybe you could lean it and still you could trim it down rather and still get some stuff done. But what we want to impart is that video is not a line item. To use video marketing to connect, engage, and inspire your customers to take action, I mean, that's a lifeline. That's you should be guarding it. You should be saying, I need to do more of it. You know, I need to hire Workshop Media to do more of this.
And frankly, if you're listening to this now and you're not in a position where you're cutting and you're just, you know, maybe you're thinking about this for the first time, it would be a good time for you to consider, how do you preempt that happening at some point? How do you make sure that your efforts right now are pointed at outcomes
as evergreen as possible?
They're evergreen, and that it is a sustainable thing. You're looking at a longer term strategy. We've had so many times where we've had clients come to us and ask for a video, and we say, hey, that you really need to approach this differently because that video may not create the outcomes that you're looking for. We can create the output for you, yes, but that may not create the outcomes you're looking for. Let's look at this as an over time thing. And the idea there being that strategy in your video marketing should help you to not end up in this situation where you see the marketing as something that can be eliminated. Because if it's performing well,
there's no way
you won't look at it as as even an option. Just like you wouldn't look at, hey, we can't pay the bills, let's just get rid of the building and we'll operate from the parking lot.
Right.
It just is not something that would be in your mind. And, you know, and if it's going well and it's going as well as it can, as it potentially can, then it will be just as important as the light bill, as the head count, as the building, you know, all of those things.
That's exactly right. Well said.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We release episodes each week packed full of insights on how to grow and scale your business with strategic video marketing.
That's right. And if you're ready to take the next step with your business, join us in our brand storytelling workshop. In just 90 minutes, we'll work with you and your team to uncover your brand message, align everyone around a clear narrative, and map out the exact videos that will move your business forward. This is a custom strategic session built around your unique goals. Learn more and book your session at brandstoryworkshop.com.